What's up, guys? Marcellus Williams, aka TheSwolefessor, here, education on health and social well-being, and we are approaching the end of this block, or at least the highest exertion work of this block, the first block of the 3-block macro, which is on my new program with this new 4-day split. And honestly, things are feeling really, really good, and I'm really happy with just the rate of progression. So what I'm pretty much planning to do with this video, guys, is just take you through the highest exertion work of the block. We already started that with what you guys saw yesterday, which was Monday, day 2, my secondary bench work, along with my upper body day 1 work. Because you guys know, like, well, at least those who've been following me for a while know the way we go about things, right, is my secondary day work is the heaviest on week 3, building into the week 4 primary, right? Then after I hit the week 4 primary, we back in deload the rest of the week 4 so that we have a nice steady start point to go into the week 1. Since what we do on the secondary days builds us into the upcoming primary days. So the week 4 secondaries for me are the lightest because they lead into the lightest primary, which is week 1, and the week 3 secondaries are the heaviest because they lead into the heaviest week 4 work on my primary squat and bench day. Now, that's all still consistent. It's just a little bit different because at this point, as you guys know, my deadlift, right, my primary deadlift is no longer on Saturdays, it's on Tuesdays, which is today. So I actually hit my heaviest, highest exertion deadlift today on the week 3, technically, right? And then my week 4 primary deadlift on Tuesday is like the week 1 because it's staggered. So my primary deadlift comes before my primary squat. But with that being said, even though, like, even though that's going on as far as it being staggered, everything else is still generally going to be the same. So for example, today I'm going to work up to my highest exertion deadlift, right? But then we're still going to back and deload the deadlift back downs, back and deload the RDLs because that's pretty much a part of my deadlift work. But then we're still going to push all of the accessory work the way that we typically would on a week 3 going into the week 4. So my hack squat, my leg extensions, all that, it's going to be the heaviest that I've done so far today, right? Along with the deadlift top set. And then, my day 4 that I'll be showing you guys as well for this week is still going to be the heaviest primary work for the squat and bench. It's going to be the heaviest that we go on the accessories for that day. And that's going to lead into the week 4 primary squat and bench where we'll have the heaviest squat, right? But then we'll still back in, deload the squat back downs. We'll have the heaviest bench. We don't back in and deload the bench back downs. That happens later in the week for the bench. We keep the intensity pretty high, even on the week 4 primary for the bench on the top sets, the back downs, all that. But then we're still going to push the accessory work on the week 4 squat and bench day. So I'm going to have some high exertion leg pressing, some high exertion leg curls, the calves, all that good stuff. And then the rest of the week will be back in deloaded. So that's what that's going to be looking like. I'm actually very excited too for the leg press because the way that we're going to do it, right, is like you guys already know for weeks 1, 2, and 3, it's been 4 sets of 12 on the leg press. And this past weekend, which I'll have pop up on screen, what we actually ended up doing was I ended up getting up to 8 plates each side for the 4th set of 12, right? Well, for this upcoming week 4, what Brad has assigned is going to be adding 50 to 90 pounds, or between 50 and 90 pounds to that, dropping 2 sets. So that kind of is part of the back end deal. We drop 2 sets. We go from 4 sets to 2 sets, but instead of 2 sets of 12, it's 2 sets of as many reps as possible to the RP9. So that's going to be crazy, but I'm excited because it kind of works out because I'm going to push that heavy squat top set and then have some really nice, easy, light back downs, back and deloaded, and then I still get to push the leg press. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm just excited to see where everything is at with the squat and bench in general on that day. Obviously, I'll find out how the deadlift's feeling today. But with the squat and bench, like I said, bench has still been feeling really, really good, even with dropping down from the 5 days a week to 3 days. And a big part of that is because we're obviously bridging the gap of volume with the accessory work that we're doing, right? So we're in a good spot there. But as far as the squat, this past weekend for the week 3, I hit 210 kg, 463 pounds for my top set of 4, right? And that's the exact same weight that I hit for my top set of 4 on the first block of last macro, which then led to my PR set of 4 on the week 4 with 507 pounds. So the fact that I'm hitting the same weight at really about the same overall speed, I'd even say maybe like slightly better. I'll have both of them up on screen and y'all can compare. But the fact that, first block of last macro, that was in the Enzers, and that was with squatting 3 days a week, all that good stuff compared to now. And I'm in the SVD sleeves. I'm squatting only twice a week, having the hack squat in the middle instead of the high bar. I think it's a really good sign of where everything is at. And when we actually get to the primary day, this primary squat, I'll kind of talk to you guys through some things that I've been doing with my squat that's kind of been helping me just from a tech perspective. But this small, subtle little change that's really helped me ever since going into the SVD knee sleeves. And maybe it'll help some of you if you're dealing with the same issue, but we'll talk about that when we get to that point. But the bottom line is the fact that we're kind of pacing that, I think this upcoming weekend for squat's going to go really, really well. Now, with that being said, we're not going for a PR set of 4, right? Because like I said before, with the old macro layout, it would be 4 blocks, right? And the first block for the squat, it would go, you know, in terms of from weeks 1 to 4, it would be like, okay, top set of 5, top set of 5, top set of 4, top set of 4 for block 1. Block 2 would go top set of 4, top set of 4, top set of 3, top set of 3 for block 2. Block 3 would be top set of 3, top set of 3, top set of 2, top set of 2 for block 3. And then the fourth and final block would be top set of 2, top set of 2, single, and then single, right? But as we, you know, talked about, I want to say in the video, either the video where I broke down my new programming, I want to say is when I talked about it, or is in that very first video after that where I showed you day 1, I talked about the fact that we're now pushing things in 3 block macros because we find that on that fourth block, yeah, I'm about as strong as I am on block 3, but the fatigue is just a little bit more than what we like. So it's just better to push on that third block. So instead, what we're doing is for block 1, right? 5, 5, 4, then 3. Then block 2, it'll be 4, 4, 3, then 2. And then the third block will be 3, 3, 2, 1. So for this upcoming weekend, I'm just hitting a triple. Now the range that is set is 518 to 529. And of course, if I can, I'll land within that range. But if not, if we're just finding, hey, strength's not quite there, it's the first block of the macro, or hey, because you're not prioritizing the squat as much, just overall quad growth, the strength isn't quite there, then that's fine. But ideally, if I land between that 518 to 529, that's perfect. Because my best set of 4 is 507 on squats from last training cycle. My best set of 3 from the second block of last training cycle is 535. So the idea is to land between 518 and 529 and pretty much hit that for a triple, looking like I could potentially hit a fourth rep. So that way we know that strength is trending where it needs to without having to necessarily go all out for that, right? And not pushing to where my current PR triple is, because we're really trying to manage the pacing of the loads, right? In terms of like just building that momentum into the third and final block of the macro. So that's what everything's looking like. That's what we're doing. As for yesterday, you guys already saw, went incredibly well. It's really, really cool just to see like the progression I'm getting in terms of like the loads from week 1 already and just how much better I'm feeling with each week. Like, yes, obviously I'm doing more and I'm like, you know, and I'm feeling that, right? And it's so good to feel like soreness in ways that I haven't felt in a while, but the fact that I'm still recovering well, able to come in the next week, progress, push the appropriate assigned RPEs and get that low progression for each set feels really, really good. One thing you guys might have noticed is that the pull down machine I was using is different than what I showed you guys from the day 2 video from before. And that's just because last week on the week 2, I tried it out. I'm like, this feels so much better. And like I talked about a couple videos ago, I want to go with the machines that are more difficult. Like, not only does it feel better, but I don't have to load it as much. And that's what I want. I like machines that have a higher load potential versus a machine where it's like, dang, in the next couple of weeks, I'll already have this completely maxed out or stacked out, right? So I'm really, really excited to, you know, have that in. And really, that's the only thing. I've swapped that, and then you guys will see for my day 4, the calf raise machine that I'm doing for the standing calf raise on day 4. I swapped that out for a different one that I'm just feeling a lot more. Besides that, everything else has pretty much been exactly the same. And the leg press. The leg press that I'm using, it's still an Atlantis leg press. It's just one that allows me to get an even better range of motion than the one I was on. So besides that, everything else is the same and consistent. I'm trying to keep things consistent so we can get proper progression week to week and block to block. And I'm just excited, man, because like I said, for this block, right, you guys were seeing, you know, we're doing lots of like 12s, 10s, AMRAPs. And with each block, the movements that are AMRAPs are going to continue to be AMRAPs. What I'm just going to simply do is with each block, increase the load and then try to like up the reps week after week within the block. But for the big movements, like anything that's 12s this block are going to be 10s next block. Or anything that's 10s this block are going to be like 8s the next block, right? And then the third block, anything that were 10s are going to be 8s. Anything that's like 8s are going to be 6s. So I just get to push and undulate things that way. Then we reset, do it all over again, go back to like the 12s and the 10s, have a higher baseline, and just keep pushing and progressing that way. So honestly, it's been a lot of fun. I've really been enjoying training this way. My body feels great. I already feel bigger. Like obviously I've probably not put on any really kind of tissue like in just 3 weeks, but just in terms of like how full I feel, the fact that my appetite's up to eat the way that I need to be eating, everything just feels fantastic. With all that being said, primary deadlift day, heaviest deadlift the block. Let's get to it. Hey, man, two things. First of all, you guys saw the text message on screen. I told Brad I was on my way to the gym, and he was making jokes being like, hey, 275 for 3, big PR trip. And I was like, no, I'm going to be good. I'm gonna stay in the range, which was 562 to 573 today. And he was like, no, man, if you're feeling good, ask forgiveness, not permission. So I was like, oh, say less. So I loaded 578, PR triple. And I'm very happy with that, man. Like, I had to contain how hyped I actually was after getting it. Because I haven't hit a training PR in deadlifts in quite a while. So I'm very happy about that. And the second thing is, it's crazy that I managed to hit a PR in this first block when, according to some of you, I should be fried by now, the amount of volume I'm doing. Marcellus, you're doing too much volume. Haven't you seen the latest studies on just minimum sets and super low reps and blah? It's like, bro, it's crazy to me because I have no issue with people training how they want to train and doing what they want to do and putting out their general advice. But it blows my mind when you've got people who have been lifting for a handful of years or less, who have only looked at the most recent study and meta-analysis, preaching what they think to be correct training like it's gospel. That's insane to me. Like, y'all have to understand something. I have been lifting weights for 14 years. I have been coaching and personal training for 10 years. All these studies y'all are bringing up, I've read them. I keep up with the new data that comes out, but the difference is I know how to put this stuff in context. I know that one study or one meta-analysis doesn't necessarily negate all the years worth of research and data and meta-analysis that have been done in other specific contexts. I also know my body. I know how I train, bro. Like, it's crazy because if I were to do some of the volume y'all were suggesting in terms of lowering my sets and my rest, stuff like that, I would make progress. And those of you who've been following me for a while know this because there was 2 years where even though, yes, I was PRing my total on the platform, I put the right numbers together, I was not hitting any training PRs at all. I hit no all-time PRs for like 2 years. And guess what? I had fewer sets, much less sets than what I'm doing now. I'm pushing my accessories hard. I'm pushing the intensity. I'm regulating. We're trying all this stuff. And it wasn't working. And what it came down to was just doing more total volume, which makes sense because I've been lifting for 14 years. And I just think it's funny because I was stalled out doing less volume than what I'm doing now, but more volume than what many of y'all are suggesting I should be doing. And it's just funny how that works, how it's like, by y'all's logic, then why is it when I added volume, I finally broke through my plateau, I got bigger, according to both measurements and DEXA scan, I got stronger, finally broke through my bench plateau, got to a 396 bench, got to a 562 squat, 639 deadlift, like, and once again, it's not to say that, like, less sets and pushing those sets harder can't be effective, but so much of this is based upon context. How much time do you have to work out in the gym? How many times are you hitting a muscle group a week? What's your training age? The idea that those of you who are like, oh, well, I'm doing this way and I'm getting good results. Yeah, you've been lifting for a handful of years. You can get away with doing less and making progress. I have been lifting for 14 years. Anyway, I had to get that off my chest because I just think it's so funny when you see all these people debating back and forth, and the pendulum always swings. Before it was all these people preaching super crazy, absurd high amounts of volumes, like 5x20s on all your sets. It doesn't matter if it's super lightweight. And I got all these people preaching like, oh, just do like, 2 to 3 sets and, push all your sets to RP9 as if those, any set less than RP9 isn't effective for growth, as if submax work doesn't build muscle, as if regulating your RP so you can push more towards the end of the block doesn't work. It's just funny, man, especially, like I said, I don't ever like to use appeal to authority, but it's just crazy to me how I'm a world-level coach, and I'm still always looking to see what can I learn more, whose brain can I pick, what research is out there. I'm always trying to evaluate and equip myself with more tools. And so many of you younger coaches, man, like, you've been doing this for a handful of years, and you're so dogmatic. Like, you latch onto one study, one content creator, one training style, and then you shortchange yourself because you limit yourself with all the tools you can have with your arbitrary rules of this specific rep range is all you can do, this specific set is all you can do, as if though there's not variance in people's genetics, needs, etc. But I get it. You're inexperienced. You haven't been doing this that long. You haven't looked at the years worth of research that's been built up, only like the most recent meta-analysis, and you take that as gospel. But I had to get that off my chest. No more talking. Let's get back to work. All right, what's up, guys? So, no, not even yesterday. The day before yesterday went really, really well because it is now Thursday. I actually meant to talk to you guys yesterday on Wednesday, my rest day, but it was just a very long, very busy day. And then once I was done with all my work stuff, Amber and I had Sam and Kate over for the evening, got to meet their new baby girl. Laura got to spend time with her tonight with her. It was adorable. So very long day yesterday, and it's been a very long day today. I was actually expecting to have already been at the gym and trained by now, but just been having to do a lot with client work, some other stuff in the background that I'm doing differently business-wise. Had meetings with Powerlifting Now, had to record the Powerlifting Now podcast. Just had a lot of stuff going on, right? So we're going to be heading to the gym here soon. But yeah, things went really, really well for Tuesday's session. I was very, very happy with that top set of hack squats, or rather that third ascending set of hack squats, just because that's the most weight that I've done on that machine so far. And it felt really, really good. And it's funny, because I was trying to work up to an RP9 for that third set, and in the moment, definitely felt like it. But going back and watching it, it's like, probably close to an RP8, like maybe 7 to 8. Like, that's what's so cool about the lower body movements, is you just don't really know. Like, you can always probably push a little bit more than what you realize it, because there's certain aspects of that feel hard or difficult that isn't actually like the fact of, of being as close to fair as what you think you are. And does that mean I got no growth from it because of an RP? Not, of course not, because it's still the most workload that I've done on that movement, the collective workload I'm doing throughout the week. But it's just fun to know that, sweet, that was technically a PR on that movement, but I know I can push it so much more. So I'm excited to continue to do so. And then just the pump itself felt really good with hitting the hack squat, the leg extension, the leg curls all together. Legs felt really good and full. And, you guys got to see the calf raise machine that I referenced as far as the one that I swapped it out. Between that kind of like angled standing calf raise and then doing like the one that I do on the Atlantis leg press on Saturdays, like I think we'd be good to go with just pushing that and seeing what growth we get from that. In regards to the ab work, it's the only thing I did not get to show you guys. And pretty much what happened was I was waiting such a long time for the machine to open up. And there's two of the ones that I like to use, and it was just taking forever. It was like 10, 15 minutes go by. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to use this other one. And I just got on it, got my 3 sets done, and forgot to just set my camera up to record it. But it went fine. It went well. No issues there at all. So yeah, we're feeling really good. And what's interesting is, compared to the soreness that I felt going into the session on Tuesday from the lower body work on Saturday, I actually feel really good today as far as lower body. Like, I think the primary squats are going to go really, really well. And the fact that my legs still feel good is awesome, because I still have, of course, after today, tomorrow to recover. And then we'll see how things go on the primary day Saturday as far as the primary squat and bench. And once again, the best part is, even though I'm super happy and stoked about that deadlift PR, if I hit no PRs right now, it's fine. The purpose is growing and building and just trying to maintain top end strength. So it's one of those things where if I go in and I hit below the ranges we have for squat and bench, that's okay. We know why. But if I do hit within the ranges, that's huge. And if we hit within the ranges around the RPs that we want, that's even better. So really excited to see where things are at with that. But we still have to get through today's workout. So same thing. Let's go in there. Primary squat, primary bench. I'll show you the final set of each movement, just so you guys have it for comparison to when I did day 4 and show you guys that last time. And then after that, we'll finish things off with the primary day on Saturday. All right, guys, so my priming work as far as my secondary squats, still getting used to calling this my secondary squats versus tertiary, but as far as that, and then my tertiary bench, my primary bench work, it all felt really, really good. Bench was smooth, casual. on this week 3, only on the week 3, going into the week 4, the 3x5 turns into a 4x4. One, just to allow me to manage the load increase a little bit better, but still getting in about the same amount of volume. But you know, weeks 1 and 2, and then weeks 4 is still doing more 3x5, but that felt really good today. As usual, I felt better with each set. And then squats felt really good. As far as the subtle change I told you guys that I made, which you guys probably can have guessed by now, I've simply shifted my gaze downward. So those who've been following the channel since like the start, I used to squat with a very like cranked up neck position, right? I was really like looking up, and I did it because it made me feel like my upper back was nice and tight. But the problem is it would just cause me to have a lot of excessive lower back extension versus being stacked. So it's like, oh, it feels really good on the way down, but then you hit the hole, it kind of tilts you forward, and that doesn't feel amazing, right? And then I had, a period of time a few years ago where I tried to have a more like tucked chin position, and that let me feel really stacked, but I feel like I couldn't keep my upper back quite as tight as I wanted to, and it would also cause me to sit back a little bit excessively. So what I found is typically best for me is simply like, not tucking my chin, not cranking my head up, but simply just neutral relaxed neck position and looking at a fixed point straight ahead. That's typically how I would squat. And when I was still in the stiff sleeves, it worked great because the way I initiate my squat once I'm stacked is I just, initiate by letting my knees track over my toes. And everyone's different. Some people may initiate that way. Some people may initiate more by like sitting their hips back, because they kind of already bias a lot towards shoving the knees forward. So it's all about what's best for you, for your relative start position, and where you're trying to end up in the hole. But with the stiff sleeves, it worked really, really well because it allowed me to feel very stacked and stay relatively upright because of how tight these sleeves were and the compression of the material. But in these softer sleeves and these SBDs, right, it's this thing where I found myself kind of naturally biasing, sitting my hips back a little bit more than usual. Even though I'm still cueing everything the same way as far as letting my knees track over the toes, I was just sitting back a little bit more than usual. So with my normal head position, what would end up happening is I would hit the hole and feel like my body was trying to push me forward just a little bit more than what I'd like, because I was kind of sitting back more than what I'd like. So I wasn't maintaining that stacked position the way I wanted to. So what Brad suggested I do was, hey man, your head position looks great. Keep your head where it's at. Keep your chin in the same position. Still find your fixed point that you look at that's kind of straight ahead. But after you find it, instead of looking straight ahead, just shift your gaze downward. And just from doing that and having that fixed point where instead of looking straight ahead, I'm shifting my gaze downward, it allows me to cue everything the same way, keep my back tight, let my knees track, but I find myself remaining more stacked, and it's kind of more of a smooth flow as my knees track forward and my hips sit back into the hole. I feel like I'm in a stronger position at the bottom, and I can just stay in the quads and drive up without feeling like I'm getting pitched forward and losing position. So that's what I'm doing with the squat right now, and it's working really well. It's feeling really good. Well, I'll see how it goes on the week 4 primary, later in this video after we get to the session. But that's it as far as like the main SBD work. Let's hit these accessories. All right, guys, that is it for the workout. Couple things to note. The pec fly machine that I use today is not the one I'm usually using. You guys saw in the last video, it's the Arsenal incline pec fly that I'm using, but unfortunately it's under maintenance right now. So I just chose the open fly machine that was available and used that for the day. And it felt good, but I'm definitely sticking with the Arsenal to work more on the incline. And then there was something else. Oh, and then on the single arm press down machine that I'm using a different one than what I used in the last video. But this is the one that I've been using since that video just because it just feels better on my elbow. So other than that, I don't have too much to say, man. Like, once again, it just feels good to be pushing myself like this. Like, it feels good when you know that you're pushing yourself hard, can recover from it, and can continue to pace things week after week and block after block. Because that's the whole point of building momentum, getting stronger, getting bigger. And like I said, regardless of how Saturday goes, I'm super happy with this block. I'm super happy with the layout and how things have gone so far. Like, I'm getting everything that I need from a stimulus standpoint and everything that I want from an enjoyment standpoint. So, yeah, I got no complaints. That being said, it's pretty late because, like I said, I got here late. I think it's like a little bit after 10. Yeah, it's like 10:02. So that's all I got to say today. I will see you guys for the final portion of this video Saturday. All right, guys, so check it out. The original plan for Saturday, because today is now Monday, but the original plan for Saturday was to go in, take y'all through the workout and just talk to you in between sets the way that I typically do. However, a couple of things sort of hindered that. The first thing is that I end up training at Pinnacle instead of AR Fort Worth. AR Fort Worth is only 5 minutes away from me. Pinnacle is about a 30 to 40 minute drive depending on traffic. And the second thing is that it was also Mayfest. So it was Alora's first Mayfest. Amber and I wanted to take her there. So pretty much I had to go in, train, get to the session, then get straight there. So I didn't really have a whole lot of time to sit down and talk to you guys in between sets the way that I originally planned to. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to take you through how the session went and just have the clips pop up on screen as I'm talking about each thing. So going into the session, my body actually felt really, really good. Despite the fact that my heaviest primary deadlift is now on the Tuesday before this Saturday session, and despite, pushing the hack squat and everything like that, I felt really good. I felt really well recovered going into the session overall. So that's the good news. Is I just thought I would come in with a little bit more fatigue, which once again though, it just goes to show that everything's kind of relative to what you can handle and how you pace things. So coming into the session, I felt really, really good. And squat warm-ups were moving well. My last warm-up I took was 210 kg, which is what I took for the top set of 4 the week before, as you guys already saw in this video. And that last warm-up moved smooth. It felt good. Now, I will say this, just based on how the 210 moved, in my mind, I was like, okay, realistically, the triple today should probably be 220 kg. That's what I was thinking just based off how it felt. Not because things didn't feel good, like relative pop up the hole felt appropriate. The weight felt good on my back. It was just, I'm looking at the different variables. Okay, one, it's a new programming style, right? In terms of, not having the 3 squat days a week, especially not having that high bar day, which we know makes a big difference for the squat. So top end might not be quite where we expect it to be. 2, being in the softer sleeves and still getting used to that, right? And 3, the fact that I am still getting used to the new head position as far as like having my gaze more downward, even though it's feeling good overall as far as how I feel going into the hole, my reverse of the hole doesn't feel as natural yet, right? And that might be something that Brad and I still play around with in terms of, okay, do we want to keep the gaze here? Do we not? But right now it's what we're sticking with, right? So I'm just playing around with some different things. But because the range was still set at 235 to 240, my mentality was, okay, you know what? Oftentimes my last one may feel like, based off this, I should go a little bit lighter. But then with the week 4 fitness boost, I tend to feel really good and really just knock it out. The one thing I regret is that I did forget to take pre-workout, which the only time I take it is on the week 4 primary squat, because it just really helps me to get amped up for it. And I just didn't take it. So I was still feeling pretty calm. But with that being said, what I decided to do is I'm like, okay, I'm going to load 235 kilos. And based off the first rep, if I know I can hit 2 more and it feel appropriate for the RP, like RP 8, no more than a 9, cool. But if it's one of these things where I'm like, okay, I can do 2 more, but it's definitely gonna be like all out, then it's not gonna be worth doing that. Because the entire purpose of the range was just like, hey, this is where we kind of think you can be based upon old trends. But if those trends change, then we'll just adjust those ranges for next block. So loaded 235 kilos, hit it for 1 rep, and it didn't feel bad. It just didn't feel natural. That's the thing. Like, going into the hole with the shifted gaze position felt good, but the reversal is just not feeling like my usual reversal quite yet. And like I said, there's lots of factors that go into that: the knee sleeves, the head position, just everything, right? But also it's just the fact that, hey, you know what, fitness is just not high enough yet to be touching this for at least multiple reps without pushing it all out. Because it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I know for a fact I can hit another rep. It'll probably be around the same speed as this. And then that third rep is going to be everything RP10, which just isn't worth it, especially because it's the first block post meet and the first block of the macro. And I already know my fitness is at the lowest point, the first block of a macro. And it's going to be even lower than usual because we're not squatting as frequently. Once again, the whole idea with how we're programming is building up potential top end strength, focusing on building mass, pushing these other movements, so that later when we get more specific, the squat and bench can really take off the way they need to. The fact that the deadlift is feeling as good as it is right now is great because we were kind of expecting and hoping that it would. But it's one of those things where like, okay, I'm cool with that. So instead of forcing it, I just racked it there and decided, okay, you know what? Now I'm just going to do 2 more singles with 220. And that way I'm getting 3 total reps in the way that would have been assigned, right? So I ended up taking 220 kg for my 2 singles. And in truth, after I hit it for the first rep, I could have done it for just a double and called it there. But I just really was trying to get a feel for like my groove and positioning. So I was kind of using it as more practice work than anything else so I could have more data to give to Brad, my coach. So ended up taking 220 for 2 more singles and got 3 total reps in there. And that was fine. No real big issues. Back end deload work on the squats as far as the back down work. So nothing exciting there. Just once again have to play around with my positioning more and to kind of find a groove. And as far as how I felt, I was actually surprisingly happy with how I felt in terms of coming into the session. It was just more load than what needed to be there, which is fine. It's low in the range, and now we know, hey, based upon this, we'll adjust these ranges to these new expectations based upon how we're responding to the programming from a top end strength perspective, right? So that was fine. Bench felt fantastic. Like actually arguably the best I've ever felt the first block of a macro on bench because you guys will see. So came in, was warming up, and my last warm up 140 felt really good, very, very smooth. And then the range that was given to me was like 160 to 162 and a half for the bench triple. Now in my mind, I'm already thinking like, dang, I feel like 155 would probably be more appropriate just based off the 150 last week. But once again, I'm fine with it. It's like, okay, you know what? Let's just follow the plan. Let's see how things are with the ranges. Because the whole idea is, hey, this is where strength would normally be. And versus like lowballing ourselves and not being sure where things are at. It's like, hey, let's just touch within this and see where things are at and adjust from there. So I ended up just taking the low end, 160 kilos, which I was very happy with this because I have not repped this type of weight in a long time. And I think this is actually like a PR match for me. I think had I gone for the third rep, then it would have been a PR triple. But I think this is a PR match for my best double on bench press because you guys know the gap between what I can handle for reps compared to like, singles is very big. Or even taking multiple singles, which is why we were doing it that way before. Like, hey, take 3 singles or 2 singles versus like a top set of 3, whatever. And with that being said, with how the second rep moved, maybe I could have gone for the third rep and really grinded it out, but once again, just wasn't worth it to me since I know I wanted to still have some priority for the fatigue single. But that's what I was super happy with because even after taking that double with 160, to be able to hit 165 kilos for the single afterwards was fantastic because I think that's the highest start point I've had for a first block of a macro. I think typically we're around maybe like 160, 162. So to hit 165 and to have it move smooth overall after hitting a big double with just 5 kilos less, I was super happy with that. And it gives us a good idea of where to pace things since this upcoming block, instead of having the triple then the fatigue single, it'll be a double then the fatigue single. So we have a good idea of where things are at with that. So I was really happy with that. And then for the top set of 5 after, we hit 140 kilos, which is 308 pounds. And that was tough. But the fact that we were able to manage that after already hitting the heavy double and the fatigue single, once again, shows that bench is actually in a really good spot strength-wise. Like we aren't going to know for sure if the top end is going to be able to be elevated with this right now. But at the very least, it seems like it's being well maintained. But we'll know within a couple of blocks. And once again, if not, that's okay. The whole idea right now is putting on more overall mass. And that way, if we need to go back to the old bench structure where I'm going from, where I'm back to benching 5 days a week, where we know that really boosts things up fitness-wise for the top end of bench, we can do that later closer to a meet if we decide to compete. But it moved, like I said, it was tough, but it moved well, moved smooth. And then for my 3 back down sets of 5, just 125 kilos, 275 pounds. And that was fine. No real issues with that. That moved well. So bench is honestly in a better spot than what we expected. Squat is pretty much right around kind of what we expected to happen with like, the trends and stuff like that. And then deadlift is far better than what we were expecting. It's what we want, but it's better than what we were expecting, right? So we're in a good spot there. And as far as deadlifts on this day, you guys know it's light secondary deadlift, back end deload. So those moved really, really well. I did I did pull in my ones instead of my flatter L runs just because I had my ones back on thinking like, all right, time to go do this leg press and realize, oh yeah, have to do my deadlifts first. So knock that out. That moved well, no real issues. And then with leg press, as you guys know, like I said, instead of the 4 sets of 12 on the week 4, it's 2 sets of as many reps as possible. And all I can say is I can definitely push it more, because on the first set, I think I did like 13 reps and definitely still knew I could do more. And then on the second set, which I'll show you guys the final set, I got 11 total reps. It's just this thing with leg press where it's like it feels really hard. It feels so heavy. But as you're going, you know you can do it. It's just that mental barrier of like pushing past how it feels and just continuing to go. So next time around, I'm just gonna have like Michael or somebody next to me, like just screaming at me and make sure I'm really truly pushing that to like at least like that RP9 to really see where things are at. But once again, that just goes back to my point about like why I don't limit myself with certain things like reps. Because if I were just to do like, oh, just 2 sets of 8, bro, that would be nothing. Even with the amount of weight that I had on the leg press, because I had 8 plates each side plus a 25 on each side, I could easily put like 10 plates each side and do 2 sets of 8, no issues. And that's not going to be enough to actually like drive the adaptation that I need, because that would be very casual for me, right? And I now know that just from doing 8 plates each side plus a quarter and doing 13 and 11 and knowing that, wow, I still have reps left here. So really happy with how it felt. Definitely was feeling it like, as far as yesterday, but at this point today, legs are already feeling pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with that. And I think, tomorrow will go well as far as like, what will be my week 1 deadlift and like the hack squats and stuff, everything being kind of back in deload throughout the rest of this week 4 before we go into the next block. But yeah, the leg press was totally fine. And then leg curl, same thing. Obviously, like, the CA leg curl there is a different machine than the one at AR. So I just kind of tried to find about the relative loading where I thought I should be. And I hit that for my 4 sets of 10. And then I just did my my calf raises that I would typically do on like the seated type of leg press, just did on the normal leg press there for my AMRAP sets as well. So the session honestly went well. I mean, this block was great. This first block, I'm super happy with it, just because it's one of these things where you can lay things out and everything makes sense on paper based off training history, data, and all that, and you expect things to go well, but it's just so nice when it really does go well. I feel good. I feel strong. I feel full. Still recovering super, super well. Appetite's in a great spot as far as like eating, which is what I was hoping for, that my appetite would get even more elevated with doing this type of workload and volume, which it is. So I'm just excited to where things are going to be in the next couple of blocks, especially excited for the deadlift, since that's getting a little bit more prioritized performance-wise right now. But I'm also just excited to see what we can end up managing with the squat and bench once we get a few more things tinkered and regulated. And like I said, I kind of already gave you guys an idea of how things are going to progress in past videos, like with these, and in this video with like the upcoming blocks. But as we get into it and I show you, more training, I'll kind of give you guys reminders of, hey, here's what we're doing now. So we did last block, so we're doing this block. But yeah, I'm excited to see how things go. But that is pretty much it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know what you did. If not, leave a comment down below. Let me know what can you get better. Like the video, share, subscribe. Keep it simple, specific, scientific. I'll catch you guys later.